Hello there. Here I have a little suggestion that I've been toying around with. I never got to play or run anything like it, but it seems like it could be fun. The basic idea is to have several generations of the same players, but with different characters who interact with their previous characters in ways that make their previous choices relevant or illustrate them in a different way. The easiest way would be, say, actual generations. So maybe three generations you get. So in Vampire, you would get your initial neonates in the Victorian era. Then they would achieve something and reach rise to some position of power. And then you have another generation 50 years later, a new bunch of neonates suffering under the potentially the oppression of their previous characters, or at least the strictures or the idealism or the structure that their previous characters have put in place for them. And then a third generation, maybe after the First World War or towards the Second. And so there you would have players who are playing characters who are stuck with their previous characters that they are interacting with, who themselves are now dominated by the characters they played before, who have presumably by this time risen to a position of power or authority in the city. This can work. You have to pay a lot of attention as a games master to how people played their character. You don't have to keep it that way. They might not be as nice or something like that, but you have to logically conclude what would happen for that character as it got older, as it got more powerful, as it got more to lose, maybe more involved in the power structure. And then Hitchcock used to say that how people feel about situations depends on where you place the camera rather than conventional issues of morality. So the more you can keep to the ideal of how they played, keep it as close as they could to how they actually played their character, the more they'll see the contrast as believable. So just seeing the character that they used to be inside of and then finding them incredibly annoying, say before they were sort of the idealist really burning to change the world, and now from the outside they meet that idealist and they see them as the inflexible bastard who is obsessed with doing things just one way and shows no understanding of the realities of the situation or something along those lines. That can be really enriching. Of course, you don't have to do it generation by generation. You could even do it directly antagonistic. One group in a city invades, then they take over maybe. It's successful, but some survivors from the first invasion are now the new player characters and they try and get it back. So they're actually fighting, deliberately so. And you can open it up. They don't have to all be. I've chosen vampires, but they could be different types of characters and mages encountering vampires, and seeing themselves basically from a different perspective. There's a lot of different things that you can do with that idea. I'd say 3 is a good thing to aim at, 3 generations, so that it's not just your previous characters versus your current ones or alongside, but you can see an evolution. With 4, it start to get a bit unwieldy, but this is the kind of campaign that I would really enjoy playing in, where, yeah. And as a GM, you also have to be quite thoughtful. As I say, try and keep it as close to what they were, but think about it. When the idealist gets power, what are they going to do? What has been hinted in the player's behavior? Has he shown a sign of compromise, or has he just been bloody-minded? Those will tell you what kind of character they'll be when they get power and whether they eventually keep power. And if you really want to sort of make it into a mix and throw things out, then you can have, after a few cycles, they can go back to playing their original characters and reinterpret them in the light of what's happened. But anyway, that's just an idea. Hope you liked it. Thanks for listening.